So myself, MD Maftun Billah Mojumdar. This is our Foundation of Data Science course, Assessment 2. In our Assessment 2, our task was to find out bad versus red, the forage file, uncovering the wild truth behind nocturnal food fights. So after finishing the assignment, we have created the presentation, and we are group 9. Uh, I'll start the presentation, followed by Saika Tasnim Shoili, Aisha Siddiqa, and Nishan Sharif. Can you move forward to the next page? So the background of our investigation, which is part of assessment 2, aims to determine if bat perceive rate as potential predators. There is two uh, potential evidence that could happen, which is higher avoidance where bat land less frequently when rats are present. We measured it using dataset 2.csv, which has aggregated 30-minute observation period with bat landing count and also rat presence indicators. Another one is increased vigilance. When bats do land in the presence of rats, they take longer to approach food. Uh, and other indicators include behavior categories, risk taking, and success. Can you move to the next slide? Here is our objectives to assess if Egyptian fruit bats perceive black rats as predators, to analyze avoidance behavior, and also to examine vigilance behavior. There were two data sets, and there were some invalid data, and we cleared it using Python and other tools. From dataset 1, we got to find that 124 rows, key column mentioned as bat landing to food, and also rat for avoidance due to rat, fast for quick approach, and pig for picking food. In dataset 2, there were 313 rows. Key columns are bat landing number and rat arrival number and also rat minutes. The next few slides will be presented by my teammate Saika.
Yes. Thank you, Saika, for giving me the chance. May you go to the next slide, please. Okay, here we can see the average bat landing, that is 25.42 when no rats and 23.98 when rats presents slight decrease. And this is shown from our dataset too. And the another is correlation between rat presence duration and bat landings, which is 0.062. Next slide. Okay, where is our avoidance test? And that is to test avoidance, we used an independent samples t-test. And without rats, mean is 25.42, and with rats, it's 23.98. And t statistics is 0.49. P-value is 0.62, which is less than 0.05. That means no significant. Okay, this means bats did not reduce landings in a statistically meaningful way. In the other words, they didn't avoid feeding platforms just because bats were present. Can you go next slide? Okay, here is our vigilance test. And for vigilance, we compared the average time between avoidance behaviors, like risks equals 0, and the risk taking behaviors equal, which risk is 1. And avoidance group about 10.5 seconds. Risk taking group about 14.8 seconds, and the p value was 0.065, which is broadline significant at 0.05 level. This result is counter initiative. Risk takers actually hesitated longer than avoiders. It suggests that before taking a bold step, bats may pause to assess the situation. Next slide. Okay. This is our distribution of vigilance. When we graphed vigilance's times, the distribution was highly skewed. Most bats approached food within a few seconds, and but a small number delayed for 100 plus seconds, which is shown in this graph. And this created a long tail for outtailers, showing that extreme caution does happen, though rarely. And overall, the median was only 4 seconds, reinforcing that quick approaches dominate. Can you? Okay, here is our rate presence and landings. When comparing bat landings with and without rats, we saw median landings dropped from about 30 to about 20 with rats. Variability was higher in the no rats condition, with some extreme outliers up to 175 landings, which is shown in this graph at rat present versus bat landing number. This suggests that while the average effect is small, rat presence does influence landings in a miserable way. Thank you. Now I welcome to our next team member, Nishan Sharif.
Okay, thank you, Aisha Siddika, for giving me this opportunity to present rest of the slides here. This is Nishan Misharif here, and I am going to present the next slides of this presentation. And interpretation for investigation A, putting all the results together. Avoidance are no strong evidence. Bats landed almost as frequently whether or not rats were present. And the Valigians mixed results. Nearly half of landings showed high validance, but taking bets also hesitated longer. And overall, bets don't strongly fear rats. They seem to perceive them as competitors for food, not predators. Can you please move to the next slide, please? Here are the conclusion. In conclusion, bats likely treat rats more as rivals than as threats. You do not need to go to the findings of the study. Please stay on the conclusion slide. Just before the previous one. Yeah, thank you. In conclusion, bats likely treats rats more as rivals than as threats. They don't abandon feeding sites, but they do show caution and sometimes engage in risky interactions. If we had additional data, um, like if we had additional data such as bat stress levels, we could confirm whether these cautions behaviors stem from predators like fear or just competition. Please move to the next slide, which is findings of the study. Yeah, right. This project helped us gain valuable insights into bat behavior and species interaction. We also sharpened our data science skills using cleaning, feature engineering, and statistical tests to answer ecological questions. And collaboration across the team allowed us to achieve our objectives within the timeline. Please move to the next slide, please, which is the limitations of our presentation. Uh, of our topic, which is there were some limitations, like limited. There are some limitations, limited access to detailed or updated data restricted our depth of analysis, and its time constraints prevented exploring more advanced approaches. And some findings relied on secondary data which may not fully capture reality. And coordination challenges sometimes showed progress. Still, we managed to deliver meaningful results. And can you please move to the next slide, please? Which is lessons learned. And uh, through this project, we learned that real world data often contains surprises. Bats did not behave exactly as predicted, showing the complexity of natural systems. We also learned the importance of teamwork and careful statistical interpretation. Thank you for listening. No, and that's it.